So, Returnal's coming to PC, so I thought I'd do a review on it. I don't have any gameplay, so don't mind that I'm stealing from PlayStation. At least you can see that I'm stealing from it. And I thought, because it's coming out on PC, I'll say why I think it's a good thing to come out on PC, and if this game is for you. So first up, Returnal is a roguelike game. It is not as roguelite. It's more roguelike than roguelite, but there is definitely progression that gets saved from run to run, so it's a roguelike. I say it's more like a roguelike because every time you die, you go back to your base weapon, and the only things you keep is consumables that you can be used again in a later area, and equipment that you use to progress through the area with ease. For example, you get a grappling hook later on, which is the point that you can see in the video right now, that allows you to grappling hook to that point and move on. You also get a sword for meleeing, which allows you to hit vines and break shields from enemies. But for the most part, you always stick to a base set of skills, which is your gun, your dash, and your shoot. I know I said gun and shoot twice, but you know. And I've been thinking about how would this game work on the PC and what bonuses would get out of the PC. Bonus number one that I see is mouse and keyboard support, because this is a shooter, and being a shooter makes it really good to have a mouse. If you don't have a mouse, it's kind of annoying. But with the PlayStation 5 version, you can put on like super heavy aim assist. As you can see in this gameplay, it just like sort of super zooms in on the heroes that you want to shoot, and it just sort of works. And as you can see, it also has an active reload, and they're using their melee to get hits, and the melee does huge damage and one-shots most of the basic enemies, but a lot of times it's just not worth meleeing. You're better off just like staying back. It has one annoying mechanic, which is the adrenaline mechanic, which you can see at the bottom of the screen there. As you get more kills without taking hits, your adrenaline goes up and you do more things, such as being able to see enemies through walls. You can shoot extra homing shots when you fire, and your melee can do more damage as well. There's a lovely choice system that they're showing off right now. We get the choice to versus a really hard boss. I recommend against doing this on most cases because it is not worth it. As you can see, even this dev is having a hard time with this boss. And that's because they just have the basic weapon. They don't have any upgrades and anything like that. So a little tip for new players, just ignore this mechanic. It is not worth it until you actually have some sort of gear on your character so you can actually start earning the creature you're versing. I recommend like around level 3 damage bonus on the weapon you're holding before you do that. And that's usually going to be around level 5. You do have levels in this game. That's what this number in the bottom left here is. That's your weapon proficiency. As the weapon proficiency goes up, the weapons that you find are higher level. And so if you're level 1, you're usually going to find level 1 weapons. If you're level 2, you're going to find level 2 weapons. If you're level 6, you're going to get level 6 weapons. All the way up to forever, I assume. Because I was level 15 once I beat the game. And then you go into challenge mode and you start at 15 and it keeps going up. And when I picked up weapons, none of the blips were maxed out on any of them. And it looked like there was plenty of levels to go. I don't know how far it goes, but it's something worth thinking about. Else in this game, it is, like I said, roguelite. As they die, they come back, and there is a mild story. Do not think it's going to be anything like Hades' story, but it is a very mild story that's good and worth doing. This is one of the mechanics, which is a chance to get a corruption in your armor. And when you get a corruption in your armor, you get the benefit of the item you picked up, but you now have a extra quest that you have to complete to get rid of the negative effect. There's the shield I was talking about that you can only hit with your sword. That turret would be annoying from range because you try to shoot with a gun and it hits the shield, just reflects off. So you have to use the gun. That's the alt fire. where you hold down left trigger and then you fire up right trigger, which gets me back to the point of what I was going to say with the controller. This game is designed around the PlayStation 5 controller. It has half presses and full presses for aiming down. When you're half pressing, you're just using a normal gun. When you full press your aim button, it brings out your alternative fire, which is sort of like a boost to your weapon attack. And some of them are like a burst fire of a bunch of shots. Some of them are like you hold it down, you shoot lightning out of your gun, and there's lots of damage to like a huge like AoE cone in front of you. There's a homing shot where it shoots out like 10 shots and they then home on the enemy vaguely. There's a bounce shot that you can sort of like aim around corners. And I think there was another one, but I can't remember what it was. This is showing the weapons. As you can see, the weapon upgrade to like level 1. It doesn't have huge bonuses. I'm just going to pause the video. You can see how it's got stagger, effective range, but you see the pistol has like fire rate and overload projectiles. Now, what does these things mean? It is very vague, but it's very important. So the top one's always going to be bonus damage. That's going to be the most important trait. And then you're going to have these other traits that are less important. Stagger power is very good because each like bigger mob and even the smaller mobs, when you shoot them, a stagger bar appears above them, and as it hits max, they then get stunned for like a brief period. So it's quite effective. Back to what I was saying with the controller though, everything's sort of mapped to the controller and it's quite good. Like you have your use item on L1 and R1 does something. What does R1 do? I don't remember. Square's melee, triangle is interact, circle is dodge, and X is jump. That's what I do know. You press down R3 to do a sprint. So if I'm feeling it on a keyboard, your right click would be aim. I assume to do an alternate fire, you're gonna have to press the button to switch. So I'm going to guess it's going to be either Q or E, but E is usually going to be interact, so it's probably going to be Q. And then grenade's probably going to be either G or F. I'm going to guess G. And for grenade, I'm saying it's your item usage. And F will be your melee. WASD would be your moving. And then I guess your sprint would just be a toggle of shift. I guess it would work pretty easily. I don't think there's any major differences. Oh, he's got the shotgun. The shotgun is a semi-noob trap weapon. It's very good, like close range, but if anything's like further than 2 feet in front of you, it's kind of useless. But there's another mechanic that kind of happens when you're around level 8 to 10. Your weapons start getting a secondary skill that you have to earn experience with that weapon to unlock. And I'm not sure if that carries over into the next run, because the run that I was getting those ones was the run that I beat the game on, and then I kind of stopped playing there because, well, I beat the game. And the game brought me back in the challenge mode, and I was like, do I really want to play again at the moment? No. Especially with the PC version coming out. Another thing that's going to be great about the PC version is a better consistent frame rate. Housemarque has done a fantastic job with their frame rate. It's pretty consistent around 60. I did notice a few drops here and there below it, and it was like around 50-ish. And when you hit a planar reflection mirror, it dropped like down to 20. But one of the bigger problems is the shadows in this game. As you can see, all of these shadows are extremely sharp. Now, I'm not sure if they are using ray trace shadows, but didn't really look like it to me. A lot of the texture work, you can see it's pretty blocky up close. This game is around 1080p from what I could tell. Maybe some periods it was hitting 1440p, but didn't really look like it to my eyes. But it was definitely hitting 60 frames per second, which was fantastic. This is the portal to the next area that they're showing here, but you only unlock that once you beat the first boss. This is the inventory, the shop room. You get gold from creatures, which they call orbitals, I think. I guess because it orbits around you. And yeah. Would I recommend you play this game? For me, There's a major problem with it, and that is all the items, consumable items, are shit except for HP. This item literally beats every single other item in the game. So you're constantly going, do I want this other item? Or I could just hold HP. Because that full heal literally is a full heal. So you go down to like 1 hit left and then bam, full HP. It's kind of broken, in my mind anyway. But, you know, it doesn't always work because to use items in this game, you have to be both feet on the ground. You can't use items in the air. It's weird like that for some reason. Another thing, this game is very hard for a lot of players. It took me a lot of practice to start getting past like the first 5 rooms and actually consistently getting to the first boss. But another problem with this game is that the runs are either very hard because you're just starting to run out, or they are extremely easy because once you start getting your max HP up and once you start getting level 3 damage weapons and so on and so forth, a lot of the enemies start becoming trivial, and a lot of the bosses you're sort of able to tank the damage and then you just use a health item to like be tankier than the boss. And that's how I beat a lot of my bosses. Was I just went full HP heal, and whenever I got low I just full healed, and then I got low again, full healed again, and I just tanked through all the boss damage and the boss mechanics. I dodged a lot of the boss mechanics, but for the most part I could just beat it without it. As you can see just then, the boss got staggered, and it allows you a chance to shoot at the weak points, which you can see there's the head. And as you can see, this boss attacks, and every time he does a melee attack, you gotta dodge to dodge the melee attack. If you just run away, you get hit. When you have full HP, I'm gonna point this out. When you have full HP and pick up a HP thing, you get a little HP blip. And when you get 3 HP blips, it increases your max HP, which they call integrity in this game. Well, I should point that out. I've already talked about how the levels work in this game. What else? Yes, this game is either going to be really enjoyable to you or it won't be. I recommend playing for around 20 minutes and really thinking about, is Returnal right for you when it comes out on Steam? Now, there hasn't been an official release date as far as I can tell. Let's find out right now. Returnal release date. PC. Early 2023. So in about a month, 2 months, 3 months, who knows? Either way, it's coming out soon. I reckon it's a very enjoyable game. I enjoyed it. The first area kind of sucks, but once you go to the next area, which is the Crimson Waste, the color palette completely changes. Starts looking like an actual cool looking game. And when you're no longer in the freaking dark and gritty forest and you're in a red desert, it makes it way easier to start seeing the enemies. If we can, hopefully we can find some enemies in this video here. As you can see, they're like flying in the air and they're doing different sort of attacks, different patterns. And see, it's like doing a shotgun pattern at you. That one's doing homing missiles at you. It's like way cooler. I found this area way easier just because I could actually see the enemies. There was a boss, well, not really a boss, a mini boss in the Desert Sands that was like a mixture between the squid monster bosses and a boss. So I could like shoot guns and then it could go in for the melee at you. So I was like actually versing an adventurer like yourself. It's pretty fun. It was very tough, but you know, as long as you have lots and lots of integrity, it's not a big deal because you can just sort of tank some hits and then just hope to find some heals throughout the map before you fight the next one. This house mechanic is kind of weird. Like you go into it once and then you never can go into it again, and then you go into it once again in the challenge mode. I don't know if we're going to go in there again in subsequent visits after challenge mode's complete, like each time you beat the game. I don't know, I haven't played the game enough to find out that, but I have played enough to really say that this is a good game and it's going to be way better on PC, and I recommend waiting for the PC version. There's the bounce gun I was talking about, where you can actually bounce around walls and stuff. There's two versions of it. There's a horizontal version and a vertical version. What else can I talk about this game? What would I give it out of 10? That's always a fun question. What would I give it out of 10? If I was rating this game out of 10, I would say it's a pretty decent 7.5 to 7.8. I know that's very specific, but that's how I view it. It's got a really good, fun, repetitive gameplay loop. The problem is it's got a very strange difficulty curve where it's like incredibly difficult when you're first starting out a run, and then at the end of the run it's completely trivial. And these things can be like super broken in the start, and they don't really drop the best loot when you're first starting out because you're level 0. You kind of want to be like level 8 before you even consider fighting these guys so you can start getting the better weapons from them. There's a lot of like annoying mechanics, such as when you kill an enemy, it drops its loot on the ground and it eventually times out, so you just miss out on picking up gold because it timed out. I guess that's to encourage you to get up close and personal so you get the loot during the fight, but a lot of times it's just better to ignore the loot and just shoot from far. There is blatantly overpowered weapons in this game. In the third area, you unlock a grenade launcher, and the grenade launcher literally one-shot most enemies that I was fighting. And the worst case, it was 2 shots. It only had like 4 rounds it could shoot, but I mean, if you're killing stuff in 2 shots, who cares if you only shoot 4 rounds? That's only a problem when there is a plurality of enemies you have to try and beat. The other problem is a lot of the boss fights have kind of mechanics that don't work in a third person camera like this. It's got like waves that you're meant to be jumping over while bullet storms coming at you. It feels more at home in Housemarque's previous games, which was a Geometry Wars sort of game where you're a triangle and you're shooting left and right. I'm not entirely sure what it was called. Let's find out. Housemarque. Had it. That was close. Get rid of the Returnal. Housemarque, and then Wikipedia. What? Resogun, that's what it was called. It was a Resogun. And you literally just went left and right shooting. They have a lot of other games that have similar sort of styles. I didn't realize they were around MS-DOS. Jesus. Let's have a look at these games. I know we're going on a side tangent here, but I want to have a look at them. Alien Incident. Damn. Like, I knew they were Eurojank games before this, but I didn't realize they went this far back in Eurojank. They even had stuff on the Amiga. Damn, son. What else have they made? Dead Nation. I think I played this one. This was the one where you're like the cart, right? Let's have a look at Dead Nation. Zombie Apocalypse. Yeah. PS4. Yeah. Full HD. Yeah. Oh no, this is. I think I played this one vaguely. But it's a twin stick shooter. It looks very much like Alien Swarm. That's what that one looks like. Damn, what else did they make? Eh? They made Angry Birds Trilogy for the PlayStation 3. Damn. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, I'm a little bit off. All right, let me just. There you go. You can see the list I'm looking at right there. Probably see that. Yep. But damn. Anyway, back to Returnal. If you have to play it now, the PlayStation 5 version is not bad. And at long last, after 2 years from its release, it's finally going on sale. I've been waiting a long time to play this game, but it was always full price in my country of Australia. They always wanted $90, and I did not feel this game was worth $90. I still don't think it's worth $90. I got it for $60, and I think $60 was pushing the limit of it. But I assume it's going to come out on PC for around $90 because that's what God of War on that came out for. But at least on Steam, you can buy CD keys outside of Steam, so you might be able to get a deal for around like 75 Australian, which would be around 50 US. And that'll be a very good price. What else? I never looked at this data bank. I didn't read any of the lore, but there is lore in there. But you know, it's hit or miss. What gun do they have? Let's have a look at them shoot. I think this is the scatter shot. I'm not 100% sure. Let's just zoom ahead a bit. Yeah, that's the spike tech. I don't remember this gun. Shoot it. That's a cool gun. I haven't used this one. I never got to see it. It's like a charge rifle, maybe? Like, does a single shot and maybe it stuns? Definitely shoots around corners. Does not seem like a good gun. Like, the shotgun seems way better than that one, but that's cool. There was a weapon that I found at the start of the challenge run that I was doing, which was like a electric gate gun. So you like shot 2 points and then it shot lightning between the 2 points. So like if you had like creatures swarming at you, you could like shoot a few points around. They would run through electric gates and take damage, like the electric gate lady in Apex. Yeah, I think that's about it, really. I don't think there's much more that we need to talk about. If you guys do buy Returnal, I recommend that you work out if this game is right for you before you go fully ahead with it. If you can like rent it out digitally somehow, I don't know if that's a thing, or even if you have a local Blockbuster you can rent from, it's definitely worth trying out, at least temporarily. As you saw in the, if we go back, the top left here, that's the malfunctions I was talking about. As you can see, there's like one while stationary, lose a lot of stuff, but if you kill hostiles, you'll get rid of it. It says kill 4 simultaneously. That seems pretty hard to do. And there's this one where you just click your oblites, or whatever it is, your gold, and it gets rid of that one. But yeah, and that's this game. Housemarque, they are a good developer. Even in the still shot, you can see why you need a PC version. It's got really bad motion smoothing going on here with this. The lines on these resolution is really like choppy. This is in full 1440p. Let's go to full 4K, see if we can see how choppy it looks. We'll even zoom, enhance, zoom. Yeah, so you can see how this straight line here just does not look great. Even the curves, it's very blurry. The UI is very crisp. The writing is kind of hard to see. One of the things that I had to do, because I have a 48-inch TV, so it's not the biggest TV. It was designed to be on a desk, but I'm using it as a TV. I was gonna buy a 55-inch, but I was like, it's too big for my room. And then I moved out of my house into another house, and I had it on TV cabinets, too small. Had to move close to the TV to actually see the enemies, because when I was sitting far away from the TV, I couldn't quite perceive who was attacking me and from what direction. I had to get close to the TV. But that's nothing to do with the game. It's a little bit to do with the game, mostly to do with my TV. But yeah, you kind of playing this on a PC monitor would be a lot better for it, because you actually see the situational awareness. Because when you're sitting on a couch, you're sort of relaxing, you're pretty far away from the TV. It kind of makes it hard to see who's shooting you from what direction, especially in the first area where it's literally all, where it's all this color palette of like grays and blacks and dark greens. It's really hard to see. But once you get into the red area, it's way easier. The third area is a very Geiger-esque area. I have a feeling there are other areas in the challenge mode that will have been unlocked for me to play, but I don't know for sure because I remember hearing on a podcast way back that there was like 6 areas in the game, but you know, I've only played 3, and they were saying that you only had to play 3 areas each time. You didn't have to play all 6. Yeah, that's about it. If you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't want to buy it, don't. I'm making this video now because it's coming out on PC soon. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are kind of curious about this game and whether or not they'll play it. I recommend it. I don't recommend it at full price. If you do buy it at full price, buy it through Steam. And if you're not enjoying the gameplay loop within the first 20 minutes, return it, get your money back. Don't worry, this game is not for everyone. It has a very unique roguelike mechanic because it's third person, you're over the shoulder shooting. It's very much like an Uncharted game, but unlike an Uncharted game, it really wants you to have free-flowing movement and free-flowing thinking as you fight the various enemies and everything around you, especially when they're up in the air, they're down on the ground, you can't see the people behind you in front of you. You see it's got like warning indication that like enemies are trying to shoot at you. Some enemies, like, they have to like charge up their laser and it's like a line constantly shooting at you. You're worried about how many shots to like stagger them from shooting you, and you have very little life. You take so much damage so quickly. You really have to sprint around the battlefield like this person is. It feels very visceral to combat, like a Doom combat, except for way more intense, because like Doom Eternal combat is kind of like easy as hell. The only way to make Doom Eternal combat hard is by bumping that difficulty up, and all that does is just make your HP really small. And so it's kind of like the worst way to do difficulty. If you don't know me, I really kind of hate Doom Eternal versus Doom 2016. I really like Doom 2016. I like Doom 2016's difficulty. I like Doom 2016's design. I don't like Doom Eternal's design. As you can see, he had a level 5 weapon there. Let's, if he can pick it up. As you can see, this one has more bonus damage, has longer effective range, and this is the shotgun. It's a really good weapon. When you get a shotgun of like 4 damage blips or even 3 damage blips, it makes a huge difference. As you can see, it's like he's wrecking these guys now because of it. Because as the effective range on a shotgun goes up, it gets really good. Because it allows your shot pellets to keep their damage. Because not here or there. Let's get to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like. Comment down below if you played this game. Would you recommend this game to a friend or would you not? It's up to you. See you later. G'day.